it's Peter from ProPythons. So I'm going to show you how to feed a hatchling. It should be pretty straightforward. Any hatchlings that you get from us will have had a minimum of 10 consecutive feeds unassisted. So they're feeding very well by the time you get them, and they should absolutely smash their food. If you do get a hatchling that's having some trouble feeding or is just a little fussy, then by all means reach out for some assistance and be happy to offer some advice and some tricks to get you started. But yeah, usually if there is an issue with feeding or you find it hasn't fed for a few weeks, don't worry, they can last a long time without food. I've had them go from straight out of the egg for 6 months with no food and be perfectly fine. So don't fuss too much, but first things to check if a snake or a hatchling isn't eating is the environment. So make sure it's not stressed. If it's in a high traffic area, put it somewhere a little bit quieter. Make sure that it's got enough hides in the enclosure or the tub to feel secure and safe. Make sure that the temperature is correct. It's probably the most important one. If it's running a little cool, it won't develop as much of an appetite because its metabolism will run slower. So you need to get it on at least 34 degrees on the warm side so that it can regulate its temperature up to 34 degrees. If your temperatures have been a little low when you check them, maybe 30 or 28 or something like that, get it up to 34, leave it for a few days, and then try again. Also, I find timing to help a lot. So I'm doing this video in the day. It's probably not even lunchtime yet. I usually feed everything just after around 7 p.m. So between 7 to 9 p.m. I usually be feeding all the hatchlings. Naturally, that's when they would be sort of in predatory mode out in the wild. So that's when they'd be hunting. I find it works best and you get a better food response. So I don't know how I'm going to go today. This is one that was just born or hatched recently. So this one hatched on the 21st of November. It's had a few feeds for me, so it should go okay. But if not, we'll see if we can go through a few tricks to get it feeding as well. With all hatchlings that you do get from us, you'll get a log. So that log will show you, the sex, what the sire and dam of the clutch was, details on that particular hatchling, and then also shed and feed logs. So you have all the information there. If you can, try and keep the same food type. So if I've got down here frozen thawed pinky rat, then continue with the frozen thawed pinky rat until it's ready to go up a size. So I've got, usually what I do on feed day is somewhere late afternoon, is I'll pull out the food for that night and just let it defrost on the bench. So I've got a little pinky sitting here in this tub, and I'll let it defrost for around half an hour or an hour, and then I'll put some hot tap water in. So I do run the tap as hot as I can get it, not boiling water from a kettle. I don't want to cook the pinky, but I want it pretty warm. If the food item has a good heat signature, you'll get a better response from the hatchling. If it's lukewarm or room temp, usually they won't be interested. There are the exceptions to the rule, but most often they won't be interested. So best thing to do is get this nice and warm, almost hot to touch, but not hot, because I know some people are going to jump up and down at that. You don't want it hot to burn anything, but very warm tap water is usually enough. So I just run the tap hot for a couple of seconds, get some hot water in there, leave it for maybe 2-3 minutes to sort of bring up the temp of the item, and then offer it straight away. And if you offer it when it's warm, you should get a much better response. So we'll give it a go in a minute. All right, guys, so I've got the pinky sitting in hot tap water right there. I'm going to see how we go. So I'm doing this one-handed, which will be a little tricky. I'm going to use these tongs. Just makes it easier while I'm on video as well. So first off, I'll get the hatchie uncovered, and then we'll get it started. All right, guys, so we get a cool little caramel jag there. I'm just going to grab this pinky. It's nice and warm. I think he can smell it, because if you have a look over there, he's already having a look around. All right, get this focused. So now this is really nice and warm. I'm just going to put it near him and offer it and see how we go. Oh, boom, straight away. Give it a bit of a wiggle. So they put up a fight. And there you go. Now just leave them in peace for about 5-10 minutes and you should have that swallowed. That's it. If you do find that they're not taking it initially, you can get the warm pinky and you just gently tap them on the side of the neck with it and you should get a pretty good response straight away. Yeah, if that doesn't work, you can always sort of brain the pinky, but honestly, if anything you got from us, you shouldn't need to do that because it should be feeding pretty well, or should be feeding excellent when you get it. Alright guys, that was pretty easy. This little guy is now swallowing that, no problem. But again, just to reiterate, if you do have issues with feeding, check the temps first. It's got to be 34 degrees on the warm side. If it has been cooler, get it up to 34, double check it, let it run at 34 for a few days just to get its metabolism going, and then try again. Try in the evening, so after around 7 p.m. works great, and make sure the food item is really warm to touch, like much warmer than your own body temp. So hot tap water works great. Just let it sit in that for a few minutes, and then try and see how you go. If that fails, give the snake some more security, some hides, leave it in a quiet place for a few days, and then try again using that combination of techniques and see how you go. All right, thank you.